Hey, ladies, welcome to the Health, Life, and More for Women podcast. In today's episode, I sit down with Candace Foster. She is a wife, a mom, and the creative at Hello Wild. So, back in 2017, Candace and her sister created this idea in her living room. This business has grown. They make handmade, heirloom quality, modern, stylish children's goods. It brings whimsy and wild and really just imagination into kids' clothing. Candace herself went through this time of self-discovery after she had her first daughter. Going from working to staying at home, she started feeling lost. I think it's so relatable. Her story is something that resonates with me, and I'm sure a lot of women out there. Candace has made it her mission to promote the intentional childhood. I agree with her that these days kids are forced to grow up so quickly. So what if they could just be kids a little bit longer? We talk about self-care and, not even kidding, world peace. This discussion is so good. You're not going to want to miss a moment of it, and you're definitely not going to want to miss out on connecting with Candace in the links in the show notes. All right, let's dive into this amazing conversation.
Welcome to the Health, Life, and More for Women podcast with certified life coach, mom of four, and just all-around lover of all things 80s, your host, Jennifer D'Amato. Buckle in. Let's get started.
Hey, Candace, thanks so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. I know who you are and all the amazing things that you do, but would you share for the listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a mother of two little girls, 6 and 4, and a wife, and I live in northeastern Nevada. We're in a rural area, so that's pretty fun. But one of my big things is that I like to sew children's clothing. So that's kind of what I do. Other people could probably explain what I do better than I do.
Well, I have to say, how I found and discovered your amazingness was someone had shared about Hello Wild Baby Company with me. And I was like, what is this cuteness? Like this clothing line is adorable. I had no idea at the time. You change it out all the time too. So I have to know, like, how did you even get started with sewing kids' clothes and this whole company that you've created?
Well, it has been about 3.5 years since I started Hello Wild Baby Co. And I started with my sister. So we can even take it back further than that. But my daughter, so my oldest daughter, she's 6. When she was born, I was on maternity leave. And I still look back at photos, but she was very slobbery and would just soak through all of her clothing. So she'd soak through several bibs and soak through her shirts. I mean, we were constantly changing everything. So I had a sewing machine that my husband got me for one of our first Christmases together. And I thought that it would be fun to take up sewing some bibs for her. So I started doing that. So that was 6 years ago now. And I literally had just taken a home ec class in middle school. And I just kind of tried out sewing bibs. And then it escalated to, I think I was sewing teethers back then, little bunny-eared teethers. And I posted some pictures and some people were interested. They wanted some for their kids or, to give as gifts. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I remember my first event I did at our local library. And there was a couple other small shops there. And I was just like, this is really fun. I really enjoyed selling things that I created myself to people. And it was just really cool to see other little kids wearing my stuff. So then it kind of went from there. I was just purchasing prints that I found at Joann's that were cute,
Mm-hmm.
or just some things online. And my sister and I decided, probably 4 years ago now, that we wanted to create our own stuff that was a little bit more modern and stuff that you didn't see every day being sold. So we created Hello Wild Baby Co. and we opened in August about 3.5 years ago. So we just kind of started making bows and bibs and loveys and teethers. And now we don't sell any of those things. So it's kind of funny because we started, but I kind of see that in a lot of other small shops that start out making bibs and bows and stuff. And you want to challenge yourself by making other things. And I started making clothes for my kids because it just was a new challenge. And then I just really realized that I had a passion for that. And I really enjoyed making clothing. It was just something so cool that my kids could wear and it lasted, So anyways, here we are 6 years later, and I make children's clothing, which I never thought growing up that was something I was going to do. So it's pretty crazy.
I love it. I love it. So you mentioned your sister, and this was something that blew my mind away. Could you share a little bit about your sister's role in this this business you guys have?
Yeah. So my sister and I, we both have our own creative talents, I would say. But she has such an eye for design. And we started the company 3.5 years ago with her. She was making the bows because it's such a tedious job. I did not want anything to do with making little tiny hair bows.
Oh.
So she was doing that part and I was sewing the bigger stuff. But then a few years ago, she decided to take a step back from the business because she was going to homeschool her oldest child. And so I said, okay, well, I'm not going to stop because I'm really passionate about this and I want to keep it going. I think we have something really cool going on. So we kind of had a little in-between time there where I was trying to figure out my style and my own designs for me and without someone's input, which is hard because I'm a 9. But I just was kind of winging it. And then she started getting into her graphic design, which is amazing. Obviously, she's my sister, so I'm super biased. But I think she has such a talent for like just drawing and creativity with her art. So she started doing more graphic design in the last few years. She's made logos. She's done just tons of different things, drawing on her iPad, painting. She started doing more hand lettering, which is, I don't have that talent. So it blows me away. But she started drawing some prints for me one day. And I don't even remember when this began. I think it was our fruit collection that we did a few summers ago. And I was obsessed. I was like, this is what we need to do. This is where we're going with this. It's unique. Her art is just fun and whimsical. And I just feel like it's such a perfect mix for children's clothing and imaginative design. It was just so fun. So we kept going from there. We've done lots of fun collections together where sometimes we just have brainstorming sessions. She kind of gives me some thoughts on where we should go. I give her some ideas, like for the spring collection. Of course, she gets my ideas and then either tells me no or does something else. She is my older sister, so
Okay.
it's tricky.
I hear you. It's just so amazing to me. She's designing the prints. I mean, talk about this unique, you're not going to find this anywhere. Literally, you will not find this anywhere because she's designing the prints. And that blew my mind. And I mean, I love that you guys have both found, your niche within this niche, finding what really serves you, what serves your talents, what serves your personality. I love that so much. And it's probably why I love the products so much because they're handmade at a whole other level, Candace, a whole other level. Literally, your sister designing them and you creating these pieces. They're adorable. I could not get enough of looking at your most recent was these dinosaurs. And I just kept thinking, how come I don't have another baby? Like, I need another baby just to dress a baby in this adorableness going on.
But then you give the baby back to the
Yeah,
mother,
that's
right?
true. I
Because
probably should
then
just
they can
find
do
a
it the
baby to
rest.
dress. That's all I really need is a baby to dress in these adorable clothes. But actually, I don't need a baby because something that you just launched was you're doing bigger sizes. Can you share a little bit about that too?
Yes. So I was noticing that a lot of my brand reps that I've had over the last several years, they have older children, and also the children that have been repping for me for a while, they're growing out of my sizes, which my sizes did go up to 5, 6 years before. And also, as this is happening, my own children are growing out of my sizes. And I can't have that happening because every time I pull fabric out, they're wanting me to make them whatever in whatever fabric they see. So and it was perfect timing because who I buy my patterns from and kind of change them to fit my needs. The base patterns come from a company that just started putting out bigger kid sizes. So I was like, this is where I need to go with this. I want not only do I want the kids to be able to wear these fun prints, but I feel like it's more than that because my passion is that I want my kids to stay young and imaginative and have fun and just be kids for as long as they possibly can.
Yeah.
And I feel like the moment they hit size, young juniors, whatever. I mean, even my 6-year-old, she can fit into some of those older kids' clothes. I feel like they get tricky. It gets tricky.
No, I
And
love
there's
that. I love that point that you're making about having them stay young. I'm out of that season that you're in now, and it's something we valued highly was giving them as long of a childhood as we possibly could, which is hard. It's harder than it ever was when I was a kid. I'm sure your experience is probably similar. You could be a kid for a long time and you have to be really intentional. And I never even thought, Candace, I love this. I never thought about how the clothing can help keep that space for childhood a little longer.
Oh yeah, totally. I think it's crazy. I mean, obviously, the generation before me and before them, we all feel like things are just getting worse and worse, with society standards or, kids at school showing children things younger and younger. And I feel like that was just really important to me as a mom to. I want my kids to be protected from a lot of that stuff, but I want them to be able to just be creative and have not be embarrassed or afraid to have imagination, even when they are, in size 14, which is now what I go up to. I want those kids to be able to still have fun stuff to wear. I don't know why we need to go from cutesy stuff to all of a sudden, preteen outfits.
Yeah, no, this is such a
Not
great
prepared for
point.
that.
Such a great point to make. And I love that about all of your designs, because I've perused so many on Instagram, is that there's such playfulness and whimsical and imagination. Like I can feel that within the clothes. And then I see these videos of other kiddos opening up their package, getting to wear these clothes, and it's just magical. I love it so much.
It definitely makes all of it worth it.
Mm.
I know recently there was a video of a little girl. She opened her dinosaur dresses for her and her sister and she gasped, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
I love it. I love it.
That's what makes literally all of this behind the scenes stuff so worth it to me, because I want those kids to be able to experience that magical feeling of having these fun dinosaurs on a dress for a girl, like that's what makes it all worth it.
Yeah, I love that. And from a mom's point of view, I know you have this spring just solid line out right now. And last year a lot of families maybe missed out on those adorable, group shots, family photos, siblings together. And I think this line is going to just encourage all the photo shoots of of kids, right? To get out there. Can you talk a little bit about um the heart behind just doing the spring solid line?
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of our prints are very fun and imaginative, and I just wanted some solid items to be able to pair with them. I know for my kids, a lot of times we wear something like a fun piece, and then we'll have something solid over it, like a sweater or leggings or something. And it's just a good way to have a little bit of matching, but nothing too crazy.
Not
I
as
definitely,
whimsical and imaginative. You might have to use your own imagination because you've
yeah.
worn, all the other pieces. I think that's I think that really is so great. And all I can picture is if my kids were younger, I would have them in those cute spring outfits, get the photographer, get those photos done. I really do like that. It makes it so much more personal too, and knowing where they came from and knowing the heart behind the clothes you're wearing. You can't get that in a big store. You just can't. I love it. You don't have to have messages written all over the clothing. The message is within it. It's that playfulness that kids naturally have, and again, it's something that just gets my heart so excited as a mama, thinking, gosh, even their clothing can keep them young. Their clothing can keep them in that space and make it okay. I love that so much. And again, for this spring solid line, if your kids are a little bit older too, you can fit all the kids in those cute matching type clothing. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, and that was what was really important to me too, because I have a lot of reps and a lot of customers that have really large age gaps between their children. I mean, even if you have a 7-year-old and a newborn, I mean, I want them to be able to have that fun experience of matching.
Mm.
I don't know about anyone else's kids, but my kids like to match, and they really enjoy that. I mean, they even like matching me whenever they can.
Oh my gosh, that is so
So
cute.
if we can, I mean, it warms my heart to see an older child with their younger sibling being able to have fun clothes together. And I mean, it would warm my heart even more if they were in an adorable family photo with their matching outfit. Oh my gosh.
Yes, yes. So that's what we're going to encourage. You go buy the spring line, and then you're going to take that photo. We're going to tag the Hello Wild Baby Co. And just Candace's whole world is just going to be on fire. I love it so much.
Yes.
Candace, you mentioned a while ago, and we've talked about it here several times. I mean, you do have two, fairly young daughters still, right? And
Mhm.
you're running this amazing, amazing business. What would you say helps you feel balanced in doing all of that?
Balance?
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure what that is. I've been doing this for this particular business for 3.5 years now, and I have definitely not had balance that entire time. And I think that's something that's really important to learn. You're not going to always have balance. This last year, I started homeschooling my kindergartner, and that just added a whole new level to all
Mhm.
of this. I'm sure so many people can relate, though, because a lot of people started homeschooling last year. I guess the thing I've learned is that you're not going to have 100% balance all the time. There's some things that you need to figure out, what takes priority, and just be able to give yourself grace in that area. Some days I get a ton of work done, but my house, looks like a bomb went off. Some days my kids get a lot of awesome intentional playtime with me. And some days I'm like, you know what, kids, here's some independent activities. Mom's got to get some stuff done, or I have to clean the house finally. It just is really an ebb and flow of figuring out your priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, some things have to take you put them way back on the back burner,
Mm-hmm.
right? The way back burner. And in a few years, I'll figure out, those things. But right now, my priorities are teaching my kids, working on my business as much as I can. But even that takes less precedence for me because I want my kids to grow up and be decent human beings.
And they're only little for
So,
so long, Candace. I can assure you, they're only little. But
yeah.
I think you actually, even though you originally said you didn't have balance, I think what you find is the balance is in what works for you and setting those
Mm,
priorities. And literally, that can change any given day, throughout the day, that you can really feel like this is what today needed. My kids needed more today. The business got more of me today. And quite frankly, girl, I got to tell you, I don't know where you find the time to do these amazing Instagram reels that have me just laughing, smiling, enjoying, but I feel like you're fitting it all in and in a way that honors what you need, right? What you need each day. And I love that you brought up homeschooling too. I'm, a homeschool mom. I've been homeschooling for over 12 years now and just did an episode recently about the lessons I learned in homeschooling that apply to everyone. One of the things I mentioned was how you have to be intentional in time for yourself. That is so important. Do you
yes.
feel that there, as part of this balance equation, that you are
Yes.
able to incorporate any Candace time?
So it's kind of interesting because I've really learned that some aspects of my business are self-care for me,
Mm.
which works out nicely because I need to do those things. Some of my business, not self-care. It can be frustrating. And those are things I need to really work at. But so I noticed that Candace time, I'm not big into, putting a face mask on and relaxing in the bathtub. I just can't do that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and relax. Usually that time is me shutting the door to my office, like right now.
Yeah.
This is self-care for me.
Yeah. See, I love that. I love that you define that for you and what that looks like. I think so often women especially muddy that area of self-care that it has to look like, these long bubble baths and face masks. And girl, I'm right with you. I'm like, I don't want a freaking bubble bath. I want to close the door and not talk to anybody for a half an hour straight. Like nobody asked me for anything. I actually shared that very specifically on the episode
Yeah.
where it's 30 minutes a day. Nobody talks to me. That is more self-care than a bubble bath. I love that you know, and I love that you
Yes.
even brought up like there's pieces of your business that do feel like this is just for me. This is just for Candace. I love that so
Mhm.
much because I think that's a total reframe for people. Like, is there something that you do that maybe you don't view it that way right now, but when you take a step back and look at it, maybe that is a form of self care for you. Maybe that is something that's feeding your soul and you feel better, more relaxed. You have a higher level of gratitude when you're done and you just don't see it that way yet.
Absolutely. Before I started doing this entrepreneurial journey, I worked full time at a bank. So I was managing a bank. And then I got pregnant. That was our plan. And our plan was that I was going to be a stay at home mom. So I've wanted to do that my whole life. You want to be a stay at home mom and raise your kids and be there for them. And but I didn't realize how much I would miss that time. Not just my own time, but just feeling capable and confident in a career. For me, that was really valuable time. I felt really confident in my job that I was doing. And then you quit your job and you're sitting there. I had a 9-month-old at the time. And I'm just like, awesome. I'm getting puked on and washing laundry all day. Like,
Mm.
wow,
Mhm, mhm.
go me, like anyone could really do this job, and that I feel like a lot of stay-at-home moms go through, and moms in general go through that transition where they're just like, what what is this? But I'm really grateful that I found sewing at the time that I did. I mean, I was like 1 month postpartum, and when you have a newborn that just sits still and doesn't cry too much, it was a good opportunity to find something for myself. And I'm so grateful that I did so early on. I feel like a lot of moms go through many years of transition, not knowing what they have for themselves. So it was really, I mean, it was such a gift.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 16 years away from that transition of coming home and being a stay-at-home mom. And you forget how big that is at the time. It really is too. And you hit the nail on the head of finding that thing for you. Now I'll tell you, do not give me a sewing machine. Don't even ask me to do crafts. I've done an entire podcast episode early on. Like, I am not the Pinterest mom. You girl, rock it out. I can cheer you on and be like, that's freaking amazing. You make that sensory box. You make that craft with your kids. I will be like, you're the best ever. Ain't gonna happen for me. It was not my gifting, and I kept trying to put myself in that box, and it didn't fit. I actually had to find what fit for me. And when you discover that place, it changes actually the whole view of staying home. It became completely different. And for some moms, if they stay home, the staying home, that is enough. That's right there. That is like it fills their entire cup. And then there's some where it fills part of the cup, but you notice the rest of that is empty and open for something else, open for more. And I love that you were willing to explore, like, okay, is it this? Is this what, I'm going to do with this space and time? And I see it lights you up. Like, it's all over your face when you talk about it. It's all over these product lines when you release them. Like, I feel the joy coming through my phone as I'm looking at pictures. It's amazing to see. You can just tell you stepped into that space and found how to fill the rest of that cup.
Well, yeah, I feel very grateful that I found this for myself. Like I said, pretty early on. I feel like there's a lot of people that struggle to figure out their passion. And I don't think it really matters what I do in life going forward. As long as I have this for myself, then I know that I know what my passion is. I mean, it may look different in different seasons, but I mean, I do enjoy crafting. My kids love crafting. I feel like it's in my DNA. That's not for everyone, because I mean, there's even projects where I just don't even go there because it's too much. But I mean, if you can find what works for you, absolutely. I think that's what's important.
Yeah, I have a couple more questions for you before we close up our time together. And I'm going to put all of the links to find Hello Wild Baby Co. because you all are going to want to see these prints. You're going to want to see when new products are released. You're going to want to follow along, even if it's for the reels. They're hilarious and wonderful. But I'm curious if we could get any sort of idea of what might be coming up next. Do you have any prints in the work that mamas can be looking forward to?
Yes. So my first one that I'm working on currently are these adorable little puppy dogs.
Yay.
So I've showed a couple little sneak peeks of them. But it was actually one of my brand reps. She just was doodling one day and she made these cute little puppies. And I said, I need that print because children need an adorable little puppy dog print. I mean, what kid doesn't love dogs? It's just,
this
love dogs.
This is one I'm ordering. My youngest is obsessed, and I saw the dogs, and I was like, where are they? Get me the dogs. So puppy dogs are coming.
This is what I want. I want kids that clothes want to wear, but also that parents are going to want to put their kids in. Maybe I'm the only really particular parent, but I just can't deal with like that eye bleed that I get from that neon pink sparkly stuff. My 6-year-old loves it. I want something a little bit more relaxed. I don't know. Neutral.
It's a little bit more toned down, but it doesn't lose any of the cuteness, adorable, like you want to see your kid in it factor. It definitely is still up there without being so in your face. I mean, it's modern, it's unique. It really captures all of it. And listen, I'm kind of wondering if there's puppy dogs, if you get some adult clothing going. I mean, I want to wear the puppy dogs. I love dogs. Even the sneak peek got me so excited. And like I said, I'm going to put all these links. You guys have to go check out. Every time Candace releases something for us to see, it's like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to see the whole product line. All right, Candace, one last question for today. Are you ready?
Maybe.
All right, Candace, I love asking this question of all of my guests. If you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
The first thing my mind goes to, because I'm an Enneagram 9 and I just want peace in the world, I would say if I could have the superpower of conflict resolution, that would be the dream.
Oh my gosh, that is Enneagram 9, like to a T. Where's my Enneagram coach would be on here just nodding along because she's a 9 as well. My daughter, my oldest, is a 9. They're all going, yes, conflict
Yeah.
resolution.
Just give me those skills. They're not in my brain.
That's so good. As an Enneagram type 3, I don't need the conflict resolution, but I'm here for it anyway. This is an excellent superpower. I freaking love it. If that one can happen, I'm signing up. I'm signing up for you to get this and just bring peace to the world, Candace. I love it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, thank you so much for coming and just sharing all the amazing things that you're doing and what you're putting out into this world, the playfulness, the joy, and just capturing the longevity that childhood can be.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Hey ladies, I'm not really sure how your mornings look, but I'm wondering if you could use an influx of motivation. Yeah, where you just feel so motivated to head into your day. Well, I have the answer for you. I have created the morning motivational journal to do this for you. It has 5 components that are going to not only increase your motivation in the morning, but last throughout the day. You start off with gratitude, set your priorities, increase positive self-talk, set your intentions for nourishment, and a reminder for a big, audacious, focused goal. If this is something you know you need in your life, head into the show notes now, click Morning Motivation Journal and purchase yours today. Or you can just head to www.healthcoach4life.com/shop.